Have you guys ever heard of somebody named Kel'Thuzad? Well, if you've played World of Warcraft, you've probably killed him about 36 times at this point. Turns out he might be coming back. The Secret Finders, if you're in the little Discord there, the Secret Finders have been saying Kel'Thuzad might be coming back. There's some clues leading to his return, and it looks like Doran has hooked up on that one as well. Kel'Thuzad returns at 11.0.7, but he's changed? What is this? What does our favorite killable boss have to do with this game now? Let's see what Doran has to say.
So in the newest patch, we had just gotten a giant Kirintor questline where we find an artifact and we reach a pocket dimension where we discover, out of all the people, Kel'Thuzad. This doesn't appear to just be a memory or an avatar, as he seems fully sentient. He actually manages to teleport out of it. He talks about how he made this pocket dimension split from the real timeline, where he's experimenting with souls, life energies, and using true and unbound magic. Saying that he has been raising himself countless times in the past 2 decades and that Blizzard is really trying to undo a lot of the Shadowlands lore, this does seem like a hint that this won't be the first appearance or the last appearance of Kel'Thuzad we're going to see, and it appears he knows something that we currently don't. So what is this new 11.0.7 questline? Let's cover all the latest juicy information.
Interesting.
Did you know you can talk to WoW characters via the Poly app on your phone? Super interesting concept. I just created my own personal war chief troll and asked him a few questions about what is going on with the war within. You can create any character you want, provide information, backstory, pick a matching voice, and you can get a really realistic...
This is going to be used to talk to anime chicks. Does everyone know that already? Like, this is a complete hentai chat app. That's what this is going to be. Great
chat option, which is super fun. So use my link in the description below and my code Doran to get premium features right away and create your own character in Poly AI. If you want this, use code Doran.
So using an AI to chat with your favorite WoW characters, interesting.
Enough, Blizzard is already following up on the fall of Dalaran that only really happened 2 months ago, and if you might not have noticed, this is actually amazing news, as it finally shows that they're actually building a cohesive storyline. Back in the past 2 expansion, Blizzard was constantly just starting these big plot points and then just abandoning them with no follow-up whatsoever, but here, it is now becoming obvious that this is just like the step 2 of a huge process that they already got planned. So 11.0.7 isn't just a new Siren Isle. We had gotten a pretty big Fate of the Kirintor questline that boils down to us cleaning up the mess that was left after Dalaran fell. We noticed huge magic problems and big magical artifacts are seemingly lost.
I bet you they're gonna rebuild Dalaran, like a Dalaran 2.0 in the previously Dalaran crater. I mean, it's not like it hasn't happened before. It's been destroyed. Archimonde destroyed it once, so it's not like it's some crazy thought to see Dalaran rebuilt again. At the end of the day, it's a magical city. You just use magic to rebuild it. But I wonder if they will give us, like, in fact, a beautiful, massive, because the real ground version of Dalaran, lore-wise, is actually bigger than the floating version that we've seen today. So I would love to see a fully rendered, beautiful Dalaran.
Which causes big issues. However, what kinda came out of nowhere is Kel'Thuzad, and I totally didn't see them bringing up his character back again, and even more interestingly, there are hints that we might not have actually finished up his storyline in the Shadowlands as we had previously believed. So to start off, we got Aethys, Sunreaver, one of the main mages, to do a follow-up on the destruction of Dalaran. Here, he interestingly enough talks about whether it is even worth it to rebuild Dalaran again, seeing that it was already destroyed 2 times in quite a short period. But personally, I feel like this is a small hint that it will actually be rebuilt. I've made this video in the past, but with the midnight revamp of Third of a Continent, we are very likely going to get the area where Dalaran was originally on the ground revamped. Here,
I don't pre-watch this shit, but me and Doran, sometimes we sync up, we think the same things. I think this will happen. I don't know if it'll be Midnight, because the city that I actually see being the capital city for the Midnight expansion is going to be Silvermoon. I think Silvermoon is, because they're not just revamping Silvermoon, they're rebuilding it basically from the ground up. And I can't imagine them putting all that work in just to make it a Horde hub city. That doesn't make any sense. So I think Silvermoon, along with the fact that we already know Midnight is going to be a very elf-centric expansion, all the elves uniting. Why wouldn't they unite in the biggest elven city that exists in World of Warcraft? It's going to be Silvermoon, and that's going to be your hub city for the Midnight expansion. It makes sense, too, that we're going to go to Northrend, right? It's a very close proximity spot to Northrend. So all of that, to me, points to that being the hub city. Dalaran being a hub city, again, would be just a freaking meme at this point, but it could happen. Maybe in the Last Titan expansion.
Talking about, like, I don't even know if it's worth it, but I can totally see a questline where we're bringing Dalaran home back to the ground where it previously was for thousands of years. Now, Kel'Thuzad,
Dalaran
one of
is
the
a
members
phoenix,
of the
yeah.
Council of Six, talks about how he has been trying to reach us from Khazlaga, but the way Dalaran was destroyed created even bigger problems than we previously thought. The Arcane Blast started interfering with long-range teleportation, and there was no way to be able to magically teleport to where we currently are. Now, here...
Interesting. So that's interesting about the teleportation stuff. We'll go back in time and get another Dalaran? God, I hope not. That'd be lazy as shit.
We realized that the destruction of Dalaran actually caused a lot of problems. You may remember that Dalaran, outside of being a city, had a massive prison holding up some crazy powerful creatures from all over the universe, and
That's right.
it was also a place where a lot of magical artifacts...
A lot of people didn't actually like this dungeon, but I did. As a tank, I enjoyed this dungeon because you could just freaking stand still and just tank shit. There were no paths, there were no secret routes or whatever. You just did the shit. You just did it. The only thing that kind of sucked was the RNG involved with which bosses you got sometimes, because some of them were easier than others.
easy, powerful creatures from all over the universe, and it was also a place where a lot of magical artifacts were kept at the same time. This is the reason why we had these giant random monsters hanging around Khazlaga, but we also realized that even a mana bomb was stolen, which, as you may imagine, is quite a big problem. However, interesting enough, we find this mysterious necklace that was kept around Dalaran, and it appears to be cursed, and then it traps us into a pocket dimension, and this is where Kel'Thuzad steps in. So, long story short, that you may already know, but Kel'Thuzad is a really weird guy when you think about it. If we had one character that just can't seemingly die in a conventional way and can't go away, it is Kel'Thuzad. First,
Sometimes I feel like Blizzard, they just run out of bosses. They're like, well, you know, we want to make this raid 8 bosses. We currently have 7. Who's going to be the 8th boss? He'll probably be like the second to last or third. We guys got any ideas? And they look back at the board. They're like, oh yeah, Kel'Thuzad, he's in the game. Why don't we just throw him back in there? Yeah, get him back in. 7th time. Let's go. Get Kel'Thuzad in there. He'll be the 6th boss in the raid.
Was a powerful mage experimenting with forbidden magics. Then he created a plague of undeath.
Throw a Kel'Thuzad in there, yeah.
He was already nearly undead. However, he then died and was resurrected as a lich through the Sunwell. Then he started messing up with his phylactery, which was a giant mystery for the longest time. We defeated him in Classic. He returned to the phylactery in Rat, but the phylactery was still around, which brought the by now ancient speculation that Kel'Thuzad was never truly defeated. However, in the Shadowlands, they unfortunately brought him back to just kind of mess him up, I guess. Realized he had infiltrated the Death Realm, teamed up with Denetrius and the Jailer, and went to Maldraxxus. Here, he rose to a position of power. He plunged the realm into chaos to further the Jailer's plans. Ultimately, he was destroyed in the Sanctum of Domination, or so we thought. You might have noticed recently that the new Blizzard has been trying to undo as much Shadowlands lore as possible.
Oh god, this is the worst thing ever, man. Every time I see this cinematic, I can't believe that the greatest lore character to ever exist in the world of Azeroth and World of Warcraft and Warcraft as a whole got turned into 35 anima. Just a freaking wisp that floated away while freaking Sylvanas talked about her mean girl fucking dialogue about how she was all painfully hurt over, had her feelings hurt over what he had done. Jesus Christ. Look away, guys. Look away from the screen. Don't watch this.
Currently to this new pocket dimension. So as we get in, we get first warning signs with a ton of these interesting documents. We see a letter from Antonidas that tells him to just abandon this forbidden stuff that you're doing. Then we see a journal from Kel'Thuzad where he's disappointed in young Jaina that he believes is just a mediocre mage that doesn't have the ambition to explore true and unbound power. Then yeah, he starts going even crazier. He talks about how rat experiments are useless, how he's transitioning from rat experiments to human subjects, and how he's going to start abducting people in the sewers of Dalaran because that will be an easy way to do it. Then we see a keychain that says Stratholm, a bag of of grain, and then
Interesting.
we reach his mirror image that confirms that this is indeed Kel'Thuzad.
This is
So,
where the secret finder stuff is all leading to, and yeah, the Kel'Thuzad thing is pretty damn cool.
we realize that this is an image, an avatar of Kel'Thuzad in his pre-Lich era, and we can actually talk to him
What's
with
up,
a bunch
Omni?
of dialogue options. He says that this is a pocket dimension he had created to keep the realm from prying eyes, where visionary mages can make real progress, a world of shadow cloaked in magic where time bends and power flows
Interesting
freely.
thought.
No distractions, no fools meddling in your affairs, just ambition and pure magic. He says he's the sole master of this pocket dimension, and he says that the Kirintor is weak, they don't want to sacrifice their narrow-minded. He says that death is merely a doorway to a greater power. He's
Wow, in that case, Kel'Thuzad has walked through many doorways. He's died many times, that's for sure. Yeah, I missed you too, Only Kift. This crazy. So he's coming back. He's made this death realm merely a doorway to greater power. Interesting. I can reanimate, reshape, rewrite the very laws of existence. Soul's energy, life, all are tools. There is no room for sentiment when grappling with the power of life and death. What the hell is he hinting at here? That's crazy. I just read the shit behind my head, by the way. The key to immortality is within my reach. So he's trying to come back. He's trying to come back, and I hope he has good gear when he does, because we're going to kill him again.
apparently searching for the key to true immortality, which is a big hint, by the way. In this dimension, he is reanimating, reshaping, rewriting the very laws of existence using souls and energy as tools. He says the Kirintor is constantly just debating, moralizing, creating all these codes, and that they had forgotten that magic isn't a gift, it is a power. Power that can be used. Then, when we try to leave, he gets a little pissed, but he lets us go anyway. Interesting enough, he actually has a portal and seems to leave, which is a little bit confusing. It kind of shows you that this isn't just like a memory or an avatar. Now, you may be thinking this is just a quick nostalgia bait, it doesn't mean much, and I can agree to a degree, but there is actually a few justifications on why we may be seeing more of Kel'Thuzad and why they decided to bring him back out of all the other characters. So, the main reason, and the most practical one, is that it has been obvious Blizzard has been backtracking hard on the Shadowlands lore. They can admit it.
They should have just said it was a fever dream. I wish they would just say that. Like, oh yeah, guys, Shadowlands, actually, that was just your character had eaten some really bad jello, you know, at the Lion's Pride Inn and Goldshire, right? You got to be careful. You know, don't put your drink down when you're on Moonguard at the Lion's Pride Inn. You got to be careful. But something happened, you drank some shit, you had a fever dream, and you came back. Guess what? Shadowlands have been retconned.
Mistakes multiple times publicly, they know they ruined a bunch of iconic characters, and even the most recent Chronicle book that was released a few months back seems to, well, not outright retconning Shadowlands, it seems to be lessening the impact and making it a lot more ambiguous than we previously thought. I think we can all agree that while it was cool to see Kel'Thuzad in the Shadowlands, it was definitely not good character writing.
Lazy writing, that's the definition of Shadowlands, lazy writing. That's why you lazily writ the expansion, now you can lazy write your way out of it too.
Or a satisfying end to his character or a satisfying storyline. Now, the second reason why I think this is relevant is that this is out of all the characters Kel'Thuzad, a guy that has died more than anyone we had ever known, that was resurrected as a lich, that lived in a phylactery, and that he's been just super ambiguous throughout the years, like very mysterious. Now, this wasn't just some avatar repeating the same dialogue, it seemed like an actual part of Kel'Thuzad that is like fully sentient, that you can actually talk to. Even more interesting is his dialogue. He says that he made this pocket dimension split away from the real timeline, and that he's experimenting with souls and life as energy. We really have no idea what he really knew, and as you can see, his knowledge of death went much deeper than we ever knew, as he obviously ventured into the Shadowlands.
The whole splitting away from our current timeline thing is interesting, because that makes me think that he's gotten some new power or some way to do this. And who is the Titan that we know deals with time? Yeah, there's one of them in particular. Yeah, it's Aman'Thul. That guy's a dick. We know he's a dick. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was working alongside Kel'Thuzad here. Kel'Thuzad's playing with life and trying to alter it and all kinds of shit. Who hates life? Aman'Thul. So it makes sense to me. Maybe he gave him this power, and he's watching what he's doing, this experimentation shit, and he's just using him to figure out a way to deal with his current problem, which is free will in life, essentially.
itself.
Maybe a
However,
storyline
I
going
feel
forward. Who
like
knows?
he knew what was actually going to happen and that he might have stored a part of his soul within this pocket dimension before he started the entire Plague of Undeath thing. Why I think it is foreshadowing for his future return is because this is not some memory scene or some NPC that attacks us, but we can kind of see him, talk to him for a minute, and he actually goes his own way. Honestly, with everything we had known being a lie, the Shadowlands being a meme as a death realm, who even really knows what true death is? I feel like spellcasters like Kel'Thuzad could have possibly known about all this, transcended the imposed life and death cycle that Azeroth is in, which is why I feel like we're going to see him in the future. Of course, at the same time, it is possible that this is just a tiny little reference, but with how significant of a character he is, I think they may be currently leaving a door open for him to return at some point. However, after we get back, the quest line continues. Jaina confirms that the lingering arcane interferes with teleportation and that a bunch of mages actually got stuck in portals when the explosion happened. However, the entire quest line culminates when we go to Ashka Head and we realize that the Nerubians had actually stolen a mana bomb, which, as you may know, is a crazy
we've seen one of those before
and a huge problem. We recover it, the questline ends shortly after, but seeing that we only saw a few characters of the Council of Six, this really seems like part 1 of the Kirin Tor storyline that is going to continue. Honestly, I feel like the entire Dalaran storyline, Arking, Kel'Thuzad, and everything is just a start, and that we're going to be seeing the entirety of Kirin Tor being...
You see this version of Dalaran? This version right here, same. This is the version that was in the crater. Basically, we only have this center ring. That's what was taken up off the ground. The rest of this, these outer rings, are part of Dalaran that we've never seen before. Dalaran was much bigger than we've currently seen in game, and that's why I want it to be redone. Build it up right. Build it from the ground, and all of it. All of its glory.
Incredibly relevant all throughout the world soul.
Yeah, this is prior to the destruction the first time around. So yeah, this is old Dalaran.
Thanks for watching. Check out his Loon Azeroth by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on Parent Select Mythology by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Nice video. Yeah, do I think that Kel'Thuzad will come back? Well, let me tell you something, guys. There's 3 things that are guaranteed in life. Death, taxes, and Kel'Thuzad returning. So yes, probably most likely we will see Kel'Thuzad back in some shape or form. Whether he's a boss or not, I don't know. But hey, I wouldn't mind killing him again, I guess. Why not? It's a meme at this point. A nice video from Doran.